It is now my pleasure to introduce our student speaker, Mr. Curry Kennedy. Curry is a four-year honor student earning a Bachelor of Arts degree in English with an emphasis in creative writing and a minor in history. After graduation, Curry plans to pursue graduate studies in English literature. Curry, would you please come to the platform?
This is going to go back here. I don't know how you ladies do it. I would have eaten this thing if I had it every day. Provost, Dean, distinguished faculty, families, and my fellow graduates, my friends. Thank you for this absolutely terrifying opportunity to speak to you inside of this huge basketball stadium. Our parents left us here. We stood on the beach of a deserted island and watched a cruise ship float away. Certainty, comfort, and direction disappeared into the blue, while behind us lay adventure, danger, uncertainty, tons of cafeteria food. But the island turned out not to be deserted. We befriended the other castaways, clung to one another for survival, told each other secrets, stayed up all night, fell in love, broke up, laughed, cried. And it was scary. Wasn't it scary how fast and how tightly we bonded? It's crazy to think that in a few semesters, these complete strangers became our best friends, and this strange place became our home. We also met the naturalized natives of this island, our faculty and staff. Sages, man, primal island sages, that taught us the ways of their former home, the mainland of human community and commerce. And they loved us enough to offend and challenge us. We learned to do laundry. Some of us learned to do laundry. We learned what it really was to be cool, to be a sheep in wolves' clothing. We learned to be shrewd as serpents and harmless as doves. We went to bed at 3. We woke up at 10. We went out to eat, and then we did it again. Man, I love college. And in the midst of this, we changed. We experienced new extremes of joy and sadness and love and loneliness, lostness and conviction. Meanwhile, the fall came with red and orange and yellow and set our world on fire in the cold. And in December, we saw the square lit up, packed so tight with bulbs that you would have thought our city was made of light. And in the spring, sunset after beautiful sunset burned and shined on the fringe of the world. And we ate and drank and danced and sang and studied with men and women from Arkansas and Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas and Missouri and Louisiana and New York and California and Africa and China and Vietnam and England. And there were moments when all the culture and language barriers just burned away. And it was the closest that we've ever been to paradise. Class of 2014, we have lived. And if you take all of the truly great experiences that we've had here at the U of A, and you wring them out, you will extract the credo of our class. That which we must take from this place and to the world. And it's joy in another that's so intense that you forget yourself. The old word for this was love. But today, the word love is something fluffy and detached. It's written in calligraphy on notebooks all across the country. But mature college graduates know that life ain't always written in calligraphy. Perhaps today, with all of its makeup and cologne, is written in calligraphy, but most of the time, life is more like chicken scratch. Most of the time, it's rushed, and it's desperate. Ugly. So, let me tell you what kind of love I mean. My grandfather was a carpenter. And the skin cancer that he contracted in his teens before there was any sunscreen became malignant on his face when he was very old. And the doctors cut off his nose and they cut out his eye to keep the cancer from boring into his brain. But the cancer would not be stopped. Near the end of his life, he could barely speak, he could barely walk, he could barely see. But one of the last times I ever saw him, we were sitting down at a table, and he came in and sat, he was shuffling along the wall because he couldn't feel his way otherwise. And I remember they had taken a diamond of skin from his thigh to go sewed it over the empty socket. And he sat down and he leaned over and he said, "Dear Heavenly Father, we give thanks." And then that man, in the heat of his greatest suffering, prayed for the comfort and assurance of everyone at the table except himself. So to this day, when I think of the word love, I see that noseless, one-eyed, bleeding, crying, cancerous, joyful face. Who is the face of love in your life? I'm speaking to you about this in such earnest because in a few minutes something strange is going to happen. I don't even know how it works yet, but when we walk across this stage in our swishy robes and our square hats, our salaries are going to skyrocket. Our votes are going to be much more sought after. Our time is going to be much more precious. In a word, we're all about to become a lot more powerful. And we know that power, divorced from love, is a great tragedy and a grave danger. I think we can all agree that if I speak in the tongues of men and of angels but have not love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains but have not love, I am nothing. I make 6 figures a year and win all the awards in the world. I won't, but if I did, and did not have love, I would gain nothing. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice with wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things, and love never ends. Even an old man dying of cancer is capable of this love. But of people like you and me, it ought to be expected because we have known it. The love we experienced at the U of A was never perfect. Most of the time it was rushed, and it was desperate, and it was ugly, just like chicken scratch. But look around you. Look at your friends. And look at your families, your faculty. Look at this very building. And in a few minutes, look at that diploma in your hand. You are witness to the power of chicken scratch love. And so, my fellow graduates, I want you to struggle. I want you to fight to imagine what kind of world we could build, what kind of injustice we could strike down, what kind of children we could raise up, what kind of art we could produce, what kind of businesses we could start, what kind of an adventure life could be if people who are powerful like you could take hold of the love that takes no thought for itself, but gives. Whatever you do when you leave this place, fight to imagine that. Because mustering desires strong enough to drive you is the first step toward changing the world. Class of 2014, I believe in you. These people who know a whole lot more about life believe in you. I'm honored to be counted among you. Our revels now are ended, but you are such stuff as dreams are made of. Today marks not the end, but the beginning of that dream.